The next thing we need to do is animate the background, because we've got all of our fish and various other creatures which sort of look like fish flying about the place, but all of the bubbles on the background remain exactly the same. So we need to animate these to give it a bit more realism. So I've clicked on my background here on stage. So that's my background, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to edit this background and show a very straightforward technique for editing the bubbles. So what we need is we need the bubbles to go upwards, because that's what normally happens, and these bubbles are going upwards. So I'm going to use this tool here, and you need good mouse control for this, and I'm just going to, whoops, well, there you go, with good mouse control. I almost did that wrong. I'm just going to drag just over this set of bubbles here. Okay, so that's what I've done. If I now move my mouse over, I get a hand, and I'm just going to move this up slightly. And what happens is I've chosen a space, a section of the picture, and then I've dragged it up. So that looks as if the bubbles are going up. Obviously these ones we've missed, but if I'd highlighted those, then the top of the grass would also go up, and that would not look that good. So this needs to be filled in blue, and then I need to put some more blue bubbles here. And the easiest way to do that is to use my eyedropper to select this blue, and then use my fill tool and make sure I'm clicked on this fill completely rather than fill with any of these patterns, and then I just fill that with blue. Okay, that's very straightforward. Get my eyedropper again, choose one of the big bubbles because that's the color of the bubbles, and then draw some bubbles into this space. So you really need good kind of control of the mouse here. You don't need many, just enough to fill the space. Okay, so that's that bit done, so I say okay to that. Whoops, I should have actually done a copy of that picture and then done an edit. So I'm taking a copy of the picture. There's no point editing the first one because then that's just going to stay that way. So let's try that again. So I've highlighted just the bubbles here. I'm going to pick these bubbles up and move them up because that's what happens with bubbles, again with really good mouse control. I'm going to use my eyedropper tool to highlight this color. I'm going to use my fill bucket to fill the same color in here, and then I'm going to use my eyedropper tool to pick this blue, and with that blue I'm going to draw some not too big circles. And remember, if you get something wrong, like you do something like that, don't worry, you just click on undo and then redraw it in. Okay, so I've done that one, happy with that one. So let's copy this and edit the next picture, and I'm going to do exactly the same with this one. So again, I choose my selection tool, I highlight these, I move over to get a hand, I move it up slightly, and then I have to fill it with that color, so choose the color first, then choose my fill tool, then click to fill it, then obviously choose this color here, and then draw some circles into the space here, just so it looks as if there's more bubbles coming up. Okay, which is good. So maybe there's some crab sitting there. Let's just do that for the last one here, etc. So let's just do this one very quickly. And then just fill that with eyedropper, fill it with this color, and eyedropper, choose this color, make some bubbles, fill in that space, say okay. So you should have about 3 or 4, maybe 5 if you want really good animation for the underwater scene. And if you get really adventurous, obviously you can highlight the green and move it slightly because it's swaying in the water. That would make it look really realistic. And now I'm going to go to scripts, and under scripts for my background, again, because I've clicked on the background, so that's what I've selected. I've chosen control, and I've said obviously when the arrow is pressed, then I want you to do this forever because it's underwater. And under looks, all I want you to do is go to the next background. Now if you run this, you might guess, so I'm going to click on the green flag over here, you might guess that this sort of a thing happens. You might have guessed that already. So obviously we need to slow this down because it's not an electric fish tank. We don't want all the creatures in there to die. So let's just add a weight and now do this. And now we've got some movement in the bubbles. And if you can, get the green grass to move as well. I mean, that would be absolutely fantastic if you could do that. And that's it. You're done.